Hey everyone, thanks for coming. Yeah, today we're going to talk about AI-powered Sidecore marketplace apps. So again, thanks for coming. Seems like you're the last who survived this probably last presentation. So let's proceed. It's me. I'm Igor Zharikov, Sidecore Solution Architect at Brimit. I'm 4 times Sidecore Technology MVP. I'm from Belarus. Now I live in Gdańsk, Poland. And this is technical session where I want to tell you about my experience building AI-powered marketplace apps. We'll go through Sidecore AI landscape, look at how marketplace app work, deep dive into Vercel AI SDK, the framework I choose for integration with AI. I will show you the demo and share the resources which I used during presentation. So AI became a very important part of our lives. We all use it almost everywhere. And of course, Sidecore nowadays as well provides some solutions for various AI integrations. So first we gave Stream, which gave us brand-aware content generation. You define the brand voice, it writes and refines data with you. Then we got Sidecore AI with Agentic Studio, where we have agents which are embedded directly into marketing workflows. And the great thing is that it's closely integrated into the platform. So Agentic Studio has lots of built-in agents. You can build your own or use existing. You can combine agents into flows to create advanced sequences of agents integrations. And all that, not just AI, only AI generation. You can always, as a user, go into it and refine data at each step. And Agentic Studio keeps evolving with each new release. And for example, with the last release, we have various options to connect MCPs, skills, and so on. And it may be that in, I don't know, in 1 month or some months, you won't actually will be required to implement something custom with marketplace apps, because there are lots of various features adding with each new release again. But sometimes right now you need something custom. It might be specific integration, specific behavior features that it's not in the platform yet, or maybe you want just programmatically define your workflow. You don't want UI connection, all that. So a few concrete examples. The first one is a custom field that uses AI to extract schema.org structured data from your page content. Or another one is extension to build lms.txt file for your website to connect your website with AO, CO, GO, all those new EO engine optimizations to connect your website to LLMs. Or editor's chart right inside Page Builder, which knows exactly the context. It knows the context. It might just answer questions from editor, or it even can perform actions on your behalf. And you can use, at the moment, the Agentic Studio. You can use any other third-party tools like ChatGPT, Claude, or any others. But at the moment, it's always context switch. You will need to copy paste to go from one tab to another tool, and so on. All that process will be disconnected if you will do this. So it will be nice just to have it embedded directly somehow inside Core AI. And that's why basically marketplace apps is there. They allow you to extend Sidecore with your needs. So let's check how marketplace apps are working just quickly. So marketplace app is just a website, and usually it's an Next.js application. It's Sidecar loads your app in the iframe, and you can control where exactly this will be loaded using extension points. Your app makes sense only when it has some connection to Sidecar, and this connection and communication is provided for you by Marketplace SDK. Under the hood, it uses post message API, but you as developer don't need to use it. Marketplace SDK does it for you. SDK is framework agnostic, so you can integrate it on UI with any framework of your choice. And it can consist of multiple packages. We have client package, which is required to establish connection. It's mandatory for any marketplace application. XMC, which gives you access to some important Sidecar APIs like Agent API, GraphQL API, and others. And the newest AI package provides you access to brand functionality. Marketplace apps support both client and server-side Sidecar connection. Client side is easier to use. It uses out-of-the-box built-in authorization, no need for custom setup. Server side requires some additional configuration. You create credentials in App Studio and just use it in your application. But SDK usage is very similar from Sidecar side. It doesn't matter from where you're making those requests, so it's up to you. Also, Sidecar provides AI native APIs. Marketers MCP, which is Model Context Protocol, and it's built on top of Agent API, which gives you access to sites, pages, components, and so on. And you might ask, why do we need one more API? The answer is that the key feature of Agent API is the level of abstraction it gives. So think about like simple operation, add some component to the page. Usually it requires you to read the component details, read the data source details, create new data source, update page layout, save page item, and so on. So Agent API actually provides you just single endpoint, like add component to the page, you provide all the required details, and it uses it for you. And also, you can associate each operation with job ID and revert each operation, so which is really useful for AI integrations. So now we know that we can extend Sidecar with Marketplace app, and we want to integrate somehow AI inside it. But basically to do it, we need to choose some integration framework, and let's define some requirements. So as Marketplace app, at least on UI, on client side is TypeScript. So we need something to be in TypeScript, so which basically fits technology stack. It should support custom tools because without custom tools, you will just get a copy of ChatGPT. We don't want it. Framework needs to be model agnostic. We're not, so we can easily switch between various providers. We want to have human control on some sensitive operations. We want to not just use the text output, but also map somehow to UI components. And of course, streaming is required because, yeah, when we're dealing with LLMs, it's essential. And of course, from developer side, we want to have some tools to make our work useful. And the answer I found is Vercel AI SDK. So it supports all the requirements. We'll go through them a bit later. But first, let me tell you how I first came across it. So I saw Vercel AI SDK for the first time in 2024. It was a Sidecar Symposium. I think Sidecar Stream was built using Vercel AI SDK, and there were lots of presentation where Sidecar describes their collaboration with Vercel. But what caught my attention with Vercel AI SDK is just a simple example with chatbot for airline. So here I just ask a question to change my seat to window seat, and in the very simple variant, I just get text variant with all seats available. It's informative, yeah, for sure, but I mean, you're not like playing specialist. It's better to visualize it always. And with second example, instead of just text, you actually have seat selector component. So with AI SDK, you can check which tool will be used and use an actual component for it. So you add interactivity, and I think the beta version for user is clear. And yeah, so now let's understand how Vercel AI SDK works. It has two layers. AI SDK core is a model agnostic framework, and it runs on the server. Uh, it connects the server with LLM. It makes requests to LLM, parses response, and all this done in TypeScript. And the second layer is SDK UI, and it runs in the browser. It connects basically your components with the server, so you can sync server LM response with your UI, update the state-based, update your components based on the state. And it's framework agnostic, but there are packages for every popular front-end framework. So this is AI SDK core server side. You use it in the route. The key part is stream text function, where you specify the model, define the model, you specify the prompt, and you get the result and just return it to the client. And on the UI side, of the client side, again, SDK UI provides front-end integration, and here is an example with React. So there is use chat hook where which helps to manage states and message to server and so on. And this is simplified data flow picture. So the core is stream text. There we define model, tools, and prompt. It handles connection to LLM, parses, executes request, parses response, then message to UI, message stream response, and the response to the client. Response is server-sent event stream, and on the client we use chat function to update the state. Also, Vercel defines their own data stream protocol, and you can find it easily in documentation. It uses it to separate text reasoning and other AI related parts. So you can actually implement your own implementation of the backend, and it is an example with Python based backend. So you can connect SDK UI with any backend then. And of course, again, as I mentioned, streaming is required when dealing with LLMs because LLMs produce response token by token, and it's there with it's there by AI SDK with stream text function, which I mentioned. It is also a blocking version of it, generate text, but I'm not sure I should use it or not. I'm basically using streaming everywhere. And to extend the LLM with custom functionality, we need to provide tools there. It's a dedicated tool function, and we need to pass description to describe what our tool can do, described input schema arguments for the tool, and the execute function to actually run this tool. So this tool retrieves the page. We get the page ID, language, and using Marketplace SDK, we can get page details and return it to LM. So as soon as we have this get page tool definition, we need to pass it into stream text tool argument. And also when we're dealing with tools, we need to use this special stop when parameter because by default it's only one call made to LM, but when we're dealing with tools, each tool call is separated, call request to LLM, so we need to increase it. And by default, tools, as you remember, AI SDK consists of two parts. It's server side and client side, and tools are executed on server by default. But some SDK methods only make sense in the browser. For example, when you're in the context of page builder, you want to get the current page details or reload current page canvas or go to another page if you just created a new one. And this requires Marketplace SDK client-side method because there is just no alternative on server side for them. And the SDK also supports this. You just define the tool as previously, just skip execute function, and you need to handle tool call on the client side. And you can do it with on tool call, execute it directly on the client side, and add to output. So AI SDK will handle it and yeah, continue execution as normal. Human control is also important because we need to authorize some tool execution, like add component to the page might be not that sensitive, but for example, removing component from the page might be. And with SDK, you get it out of the box with needs approval. By default, it's just you can set it to true, and it will handle for you. But sometimes you can even create some advanced conditions. So, for example, you can pass function here and set needs approval to true or false based on the context. And then on the UI, user need to click approve or reject, and you use some specific function to handle this situation. And you've probably heard about, or maybe even used skills if you worked with Cursor or Cloud Code and other agents. So it's a great pattern to keep your system prompt smaller and load required instructions or scripts only when they're required. And Vercel AI SDK also supports this with Bash tool. So actually, skill is just a special tool which reads markdown file, adds those instructions to the context, so LM knows what to do. And sometimes raw text is not enough. Sometimes you want structured object instead. And it's also supported by AI SDK. You can define that schema, pass it to stream text as an output option. LM will generate the response as JSON, and SDK will parse and validate it for you. So here I asked to extract structured CO data from the page. And if you work with Vercel AI SDK, you can connect to any LLM. There are separated packages for each of main providers. And yeah, but sometimes you may want to switch between different models easily. For example, you want to be flexible in this in this case, or maybe you want to try various models. And if you will do it just with separated packages, it might become very messy. You need to install multiple npm packages. You need to manage multiple API keys and so on. So it is Vercel AI Gateway, which you can also use. It provides single endpoint, single API key, and you can just use it. No additional npm packages required. Also, pricing is the same as you assess OpenAI, Anthropic, or other providers, and it also supports even bring your own API key. So you can, if you have your OpenAI API key or any other, you can bring it to AI Gateway. So if you need this flexibility, it might be your option. And also during development, it's worth to have a debug options, and it's also possible with DevTools middleware. You need to wrap the model, and then it actually runs to local folder all the raw request and response from AI, and then you just run npx commands when you need to debug, and it will spin up the server where you can see each request which was executed. So, and now as we have SDK knowledge, we have some Marketplace app knowledge. Let's check how to connect all them together. You've probably heard about SUGCON UI, which is a set of predefined components which you download, install in your solution. You can customize them and build on top of them. And also it is a block site-cause design system, which is basically which is built based on SUGCON UI, and it's you need to use it if you implement in Marketplace apps. And also it is AI elements components library from Vercel, which also based on SUGCON UI, and it's integrated and with AI SDK, and it provides UI components which you can just easily and quickly use to render something like this chat with reasoning, with tool calls, with approval sections and inputs and so on. And yeah, also all those three libraries, components, as you will name it, work together very well out of the box. Also, you need somewhere to store the configuration when you implement in Marketplace app, like API keys, user preferences. So environment variables works well with any Next.js application, but if you need to support multiple Sitecore organizations, multiple Sitecore clients, then it became a problem. So instead, at the moment, I just store some sensitive information in Sitecore items, like using GraphQL. Maybe you've heard that Sitecore is planning to release some configuration storage or some key value storage for those kind of things, but at the moment it's probably the best solution we have, and some less sensitive information or just user specific information just goes into browser local storage. So, and the full architecture is the following. On the front end we use AI SDK UI with AI elements, with block. On the server side we have AI SDK core with stream text or tool loop agent function. It's basically the same as stream text, just with another abstraction. It handles tool loop, it handles connection to LLM and so on. And for Sitecore specific tools, I built this npm package, Sitecore AI SDK tools. It wraps agent API calls into SDK, AI SDK compatible tools. And now you have an option to choose between Marketplace MCP or build your own or use this AI SDK tools package. Previously, it was problematic to connect Marketplace MCP. Now you have this option, but still with new npm, with this npm package, you can choose where to execute tools. You can also choose approval setup, so it's built in. You can configure it, and also there are some client-specific tools which I talked about with page builder context. So if you need only server-side, Marketplace MCP is fine. If you need the choice, you can check this package. And now it's time for the demo. And for the demo, I want to show you a few Marketplace apps, which not only I, but I and my colleagues built. So to build by me individually, and one was our hackathon project. So let me. Reload the page. So here I just created basically a lorem ipsum page about Sidecar user group EU, and I want to run editor's chat. Here I have some settings where I need to configure API keys. I can configure do I need to approve tools and approval scope. For example, I can choose right now only when I modify the data I need to approve. When I read the data, I just fine with it. And also tool execution is an option right here. And I have predefined prompt. So I made some like research, got some information. I hope you can see it. If not, I can. So here I just ask her to update some fields based on the information I have about Sidecar User Group Europe. And all this information can be also retrieved here directly with web search, but it will take some time. And I mean, research phase is like not always predictable. So I just have some prepared information. And now as the chat started to perform some actions, it first of all it understands that I'm asking to update the content, so it loads a skill where it's described which tools needs to be used. So it has some. It's asking me to run some tools. So now the page is dated. You can see it. It was just very simple, just page fields update. Now I also know that this is a placeholder, and I want to add a new component into it. Also, as you can see, it changes the content and also reloads the page automatically. So now it asks if I want to add a new component to the page. So it should be there. And I'm not sure, is the ticket, is the link correct? Seems like no, but okay. Sometimes it's not working as expected. So for example, here I don't like this component. So as you can see, it's arrow back, and I can reveal the separation. And this component is just removed from the page. So let's leave it as it is. And now I want to go further, and I want to go to page content. And here I have schema org custom field. And right now it's empty, and I may ask AI to generate schema org JSON based on the content. So it's evaluating various types, and here is the result. Just based on the page content, it correctly identified that it's an event with start and date and so on. You can edit manually. You can, for example, at the moment accept. Oh, I didn't show you one more thing. Let's try to evaluate again. So there are 11 defined types here right now, And in analysis, I can also check an explanation why some type was selected, like event was selected because I mean, site user group is actually an event. And there are lots of rejected types, like article is rejected because this page is not looks like article, and FAQ page as well. So now this JSON is written into the field, and it can be used for SEO optimizations. And another thing where so the last application example is converting the page into Markdown. It's again can be used when you need to connect your website to LLM, because LLM works well with Markdown. There are lots of noise for LLM in HTML, so it may be useful for you to convert the page just directly into Markdown. Again, just saved in the field, and you can on the site you can just use this field to render raw value. So that's basically it for the presentation. You can check this link. This is GitHub repo where I collected all the useful resources. Also, all those applications which I showed you are open source, so you can find all those links here. You can check source code, use it if needed, and that's it. So thanks to our sponsors to make this event possible, and I will be glad to ask any questions if there are any. No questions? No questions? Okay.
Thanks, Igor. Any questions?
I mean, if you have any, just reach me through GitHub or somehow.